Welcome to this explainer. Building a lasting professional network doesn't just happen by accident. It's definitely not something you want to leave up to chance. It takes real structural integrity and deliberate design. So today, we're going to break down the exact methodology to ensure your connections actually stick around and yield long-term sustainability, instead of just fizzling out.
Let me ask you something. What happens after the handshake? Seriously, think about it. How many business cards are just collecting dust on your desk right now? Or how many digital contacts are sitting completely dormant in your phone? It's so easy to fall into the trap of viewing networking as just a numbers game, like this frantic collection of first introductions where saying hello feels like the ultimate finish line. But stopping right there, well, that fundamentally misunderstands how a real network is actually built. There's a really stark contrast between that fleeting initial meeting and the ongoing effort of active maintenance. Making a connection is just a momentary event. It's a spark. But active maintenance, that's where the actual structure of your career foundation is built. It's absolutely crucial. Honestly, without it, all the energy you put into that initial meeting is essentially wasted. Which brings us to our first core concept, moving beyond the first handshake. Because, literally, meeting someone is only 50% of the job. It's so easy to go to a conference, shake a dozen hands, swap contact info, and feel this huge sense of accomplishment. You think, hey, I networked, right? But the framework we're exploring today argues that if you stop there, you'd basically abandon the project halfway through. It's like you poured the concrete foundation but totally walked away before framing the house. So, how do we fix that? That leads us to achieving relational sustainability. How do we make sure that initial 50% of work doesn't just evaporate over the next few weeks? The answer is relational sustainability. This is the consistent effort that transforms a brief encounter into a meaningful, lasting connection. It's a continuous process. You're shifting from passive happenstance, just hoping you bump into someone again, to active design. Think of your network as a living ecosystem. If you don't water it with consistent effort, it's inevitably going to dry up. And to keep it watered, we need a solid strategy. Let's open up the follow-up playbook. When you follow up, your actions should map directly to a relational impact. For example, sending a personalized email proves you are actually listening to specific things you talked about in your meeting. Or if you engage on a platform like LinkedIn, the impact is that it keeps you top of mind without being super annoying or intrusive. This is maintenance modeling in action. You're doing specific things designed to sustain the structural integrity of that relationship. If you treat these best practices as sequential steps, you'll systematically stand out and keep the connection alive over the long haul. Step 1. Send that personalized message pretty soon after you meet. Step 2. Take it a little further by sharing an article or a resource that lines up with whatever interests you talked about. Step 3. Engage with their stuff on social media. And Step 4. Actively celebrate their wins, like a promotion or an award. Do this, and you're not just another random name in their contacts. You become a genuinely supportive presence in their professional life. Let's take this to the next level and look at the power of multiplex ties. If you really want to accelerate trust, you need to understand multiplex ties. Basically, these are connections that span across multiple contacts. So instead of only knowing someone from work, maybe you discover a shared hobby, a volunteer interest, or a common background. You're transforming from a one-dimensional work acquaintance into a multi-dimensional connection. And according to our sources, this is absolutely the secret sauce for accelerating trust. Think about it. Human beings are complex. When you overlap different social and professional contacts, you turn a contact into a trusted ally so much faster. If you only ever talk to someone about quarterly earnings, the relationship is strictly transactional. But if you talk about quarterly earnings and you both happen to be obsessed with marathon running, well, you've instantly deepened that bond. You've created a multiplex tie, which naturally fast-tracks mutual trust and relational durability. Ultimately, making all of this work requires our final step: building non-negotiable habits. You absolutely have to make follow-up a non-negotiable habit. It really can't be optional. It definitely can't be something you only do when you need a favor or when you're suddenly looking for a new job. If you want to architect a truly lasting professional network, these maintenance behaviors have to become as routine as brushing your teeth or checking your email. It's the steady, continuous process that ultimately defines the true strength of your career foundation. As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to apply this to your own life right now. Ask yourself, who are you failing to follow up with today? Think about that person you met last week, or maybe a colleague you haven't spoken to in 6 months. The architecture of your network requires your active maintenance. So go send that personalized message, find that multiplex tie, and start turning those brief encounters into lasting connections.